It feels like we've been waiting for so long for Cosmic Star Heroine on Vita. I had some pretty high expectations for the game, and now that it's here, I'm glad to say that my expectations have been met. While it's not perfect, it's still a very good game that old school RPG fans will especially appreciate. The main character of the game is Alyssa LaSalle, a secret agent at the API, the Agency for Peace and Intelligence. Alongside her friends, she goes on an adventure to take down villains and save others. I don't want to say much about the story itself because even in the first hour there's a plot twist. What I will say about the story is that it's very fast paced, especially for an RPG of this style. Alyssa and her friends jump from one mission to the next very quickly, and even within missions the danger can escalate and objectives change very quickly. This is one of my few criticisms for the game. The plot moves too fast at times, and it isn't given a chance to breathe. The big moments don't feel like they have much weight because the characters don't get to linger on anything. Also because the characters are just so cool and collected. Alyssa is joined on her adventure by a varied cast of characters like the dancing robot, the rebel turned pop star, or the rookie cop. They are all just very confident characters and nothing phases them. It worked on one hand to have this cast of characters jet setting to different locations and beating bad guys without any worry, kind of like an 80s action movie. But then it also meant the plot didn't feel consequential at times. Now, although I did find this a negative for the story, it wasn't a massive problem. I haven't played an RPG quite like this before, so the fast pace and lack of character development seemed off to me. I would have liked to have learnt more about the cast of characters, including Alyssa, but at the same time it was appreciated that the game doesn't waste too much time with unnecessary activities and useless filler. The game plays out like some popular old school JRPGs from the SNES era, like Final Fantasy VI for example. You control Alyssa for the most part as she walks around the map exploring for your next objective. You encounter enemies on the map and then battle them in turn-based battles. There are no random encounters, which is great. I've never liked them. All the enemies are on the map, and you can avoid some of them if you look for alternate routes, although I did prefer to get into fights to gain experience and level up. Leveling up brings new abilities, and each party member can hold up to 8 abilities at a time. The battles are turn-based, and within the battle some of the abilities can only be used once, before you have to use a turn and recharge the character's abilities. Every turn the character builds their hyper gauge, and when it's full they can unleash a hyper attack, which is a more powerful version of one of their abilities. There can be a lot of planning and strategy involved in a battle, to make sure you use the right abilities at the right time, and refresh at certain times to ensure your hyper is used for the best ability. The party members are so different too, that you need to experiment using different party setups, and different abilities to get the best out of your team. I really liked how this wasn't just a standard turn-based RPG. The abilities and hyper and refresh added this great strategic air to each battle. Your health refills after each battle, so there isn't a worry about carrying around potions or healing party members. I again liked this aspect, and it made me focus on offense during combat. There's also a useful mechanic where when a party member's health goes below 0, you have a chance to save them or you can execute a more powerful attack as their last stand before they die. Once I had my core party and had their abilities all set, I did find myself repeating the same tactics again and again. I would try and execute the same abilities in the same order for each battle. But when you come up against a tough group of enemies that could stun your party or take you close to death, those tactics went out the window, and I needed to replan my approach. I played on the second difficulty out of 4, and for the most part the game wasn't too hard. I did die a few times, but I hit retry and just restarted the battle. This was so appreciated. I used to hate in RPGs having to go back to the last save point when I died. In Cosmic Star Heroine there's no issue with that. You just start back at the beginning of the battle. You can visit shops in the world or in your base that you acquire from chapter 7 onwards. The weapons and shields you can buy can change up your abilities and strengths, which can force you to replan your approach to battles and make the best use of your equipment. The pixel graphics and sound are just excellent. You've got the 16-bit old school RPG style, but with a sci-fi setting, and it just works so well. The environments are varied and detailed, whether it's a casino run by robots, city slums, or the inside of a submarine overrun by monsters. The music also has a great sci-fi vibe. There are detailed pixel cutscenes too, which are very well done and add to the cool of the characters. Overall, I've enjoyed playing Cosmic Star Heroine. It still amazes me how a game this good can be made by such a small group of people. Sure, the story lacked weight and the characters could have been better developed, but I love the style of the game, the depth and strategy to the battles, the fact that it doesn't overstay its welcome or bog you down with filler content, and the graphics and music. There are also some fun and subtle references to 90s video games that I really liked. If you're a fan of old school JRPGs, then this is a game for you. So guys, have you played Cosmic Star Heroine, or are you thinking of picking it up? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.